Hi, my name is Jack Wallen, and I'm here again to talk to you about something. I'm an artist. I know that when I say that to certain people, they immediately assume that I can draw or paint or whatever, and I cannot draw. One, one, one time my wife bought me a coaster, and it's got a little poorly drawn bicycle and person on it, and it says, "I can't draw for shit, but you should see me ride a bike." And it's true. My take on what it is to be an artist means that you are creative and you create something. Artists can be actors, writers, dancers, musicians, directors, sculptors, painters, potters, you name it. Run the gamut. There are so many things that we artists do. Now, what is it that I want to talk about today? Now, I'm going to warn you that this might start out a little gloom and doom, but it eventually is going to rise to the occasion. The world is a shit show. That's the best way I can put it. And I'm fairly certain that most of you would agree with me. The problem is that many people are built to deal with it, while others aren't. And a lot of artists I know fit in that latter category. Now, it's hard being an artist in this world because the world isn't built for artists. The world, I believe, sadly enough, is built for business. And if you ask any person within the realm of business, they will say that business makes the world go round. And to them, I would say that may be true, but art makes the world go round a bit smoother. Art heals the soul. Art heals the heart. And the irony is that so many artists that create the things that help to heal the heart and soul are so bad at caring for their own heart and soul. And that's what I want to talk about today. Self-care as an artist. It's not easy. And part of it is that we often focus on self-care for the human being, and that is a great thing. It should not be overlooked. It should actually be something that you focus on daily. But you also have to focus on the care and feeding of your artistic soul. Because if you don't do that, the world is going to get even uglier. So how do you self-care as an artist? Well, I've been doing this thing called art for nigh on 30 plus years. Probably closer to 40. And there have been periods of my life where I was really bad at self-care, and there have been periods where I've been really good at self-care. And I think that I have reached the point now where self-care for me as a person and an artist has become second nature. And it wasn't always easy, but it is something that I highly suggest every artist out there focus on for the next few months. That was not there was no double entendre there. There was no subtext there. Maybe. Anyway, what do you do to care for your artistic self? Okay, so let's just get it out of the way. That the first thing you do, as you would self-care for a person, is you've got to eat right, you've got to sleep, you've got to exercise, and you've got to drink water. People, come on. I can't tell you how many human beings out there I know that get their water consumption from coffee or soda. Now, and I used to be one of them. For decades, I was drinking 5 to 8 sodas a day. And there was one time when I was at a writing convention and someone filmed me doing a reading of Punk Ass Punk, my book. And I saw the video and my first reaction was, who is that reading my book? I don't recognize them. I am 5'4" tall. My ideal weight is about 135. And at that point, I was pushing 160. Sorry, my feet keep slipping off my chair. And 160 is not healthy for me. And I looked it. And immediately when I was driving back from that convention, I said, I've got to make a change. I've got to make a big, big change. And the first change I did was I stopped drinking soda. And then I stopped eating candy. I stopped snacking. I don't snack anymore. I eat 3 meals and that's it. And I'm not hungry. Now, I should say that the first couple of weeks of me making that change was pretty trying. The headaches from the lack of caffeine. I don't drink any caffeine at all. I haven't had any caffeine for about 10 years now. But those first 2 weeks were harsh. And readjusting my body to not eat sweets and snacks was also a challenge. But the thing is I am so much better because of it. And I drink a lot of water now. And I can always tell when I don't drink enough water, my body just feels dead. Not really literally dead. It feels, I have low energy. I feel lethargic. I feel like I can't, my eyes hurt. I'm like headache adjacent all the time. So I make sure that I drink plenty of water. So please do yourself a favor. Drink more water than you think you need. And get some sleep. There's this idea of the not the starving artist, because, well, we know about that, but the suffering artist. That artists have to stay up until the wee hours of the night to really connect with their artistry. And that's just bullshit. I have reached the point where I'm very regimented in what I do. Usually around 9:30, my wife and I retire to the loft where the bed is, and she lays down in the bed, and I sit down in a chair and I write for usually about an hour and a half, and then I lay in bed and read, and I go to sleep. I'm usually asleep by 11 o'clock, and I wake up about 6:30 without an alarm. That is my habit now, and I know how much sleep my body needs. I need between 6.5 and 7 hours of sleep, and I'm good with that. And in fact, if I go over 7 hours of sleep, my day is kind of made awful because I just feel draggy all the time. So you don't have to suffer as an artist. You don't have to not get enough sleep because you think that by sleep, if you suffer through sleep deprivation, you're going to kind of tap into this otherworldly artistry. That's just, I mean, you try that once or twice, but when you very quickly realize how bad it is for your body, stop, because you've got to care for yourself. Here's the thing: your body, your mind, your heart, your soul, it's all connected. And if you neglect one thing, it is going to cascade. There's going to be a domino effect. Just like if you don't drink enough water, your brain is going to get a little fuzzy. You're not going to be able to think very clearly. And if you can't think very clearly, you can't create very clearly. You understand what I'm saying? Take care of your body. And a part of that is exercise. And I know that that's a hard one. I know for so many people that exercise is just, it's like the devil. But here's the thing. Your body needs it. And I'm not talking about, I'm fanatical about it. I run about 30 miles a week, and I row for about 3 hours a week, 1 hour at a time. And I've been doing that for a very, very long time. And I'm not saying that you need to do that. If all you can do is go out and walk, then go out and walk. But let me tell you this, and this is the honest truth. I have had some of my best, by a long shot, best artistic ideas while out for a run. While my heart is pumping and the adrenaline is flowing, the ideas just pummel me. It's like my muse is running right next to me, whispering in my ear the whole time. So not only Are you releasing all those endorphins and all that other stuff that makes your mind just fire like crazy? You're also helping your body along. And when you help your body along, you help your brain and your mind and your heart and all of it. Now, self-care for an artist isn't all the same for self-care for a human being. There are a lot of other things that you should be doing. And here's a big one. So everybody drop whatever you're doing and pay close attention to this. If you take anything out of this video, let it be what I'm about to say. Stop judging yourself based on the success of other artists. Let me say that again. Stop judging yourself based on the success of other artists. For a very long time, I did that, and it was exhausting. It was not just exhausting, it was frustrating and hurtful. It was soul crushing, because at that time, I saw all of these other writers and actors just enjoying great successes, inking six-figure deals with publishers and landing their own television shows and all this other stuff. And that wasn't me. That wasn't happening to me. And the whole time I did that, I just kept thinking, why not me? Why not me? Why is this not happening to me? Why am I stuck in this rut? Why can't I get over that hurdle that will launch me into that kind of career? And I did that for a long time, and finally I said, this is not doing me any good. Because their success and my success are not intertwined at all. And not only that, but every time I saw somebody succeeding at something, I got so jealous, and it was ugly, and it did no good. It only did harm. Because the more I said, why not me, the more my own art suffered. Because all of a sudden I started thinking, well, what do I need to change in my process, or what I'm writing, or how I'm delivering these monologues for auditions? What do I need to change in me so that I can become more like them? And me becoming more like them is doing me a disservice, because I am unique. Because what I have to offer the world is unique to me. And if I lose that, I lose everything that I am as an artist. There will always be people more successful than you. There will always be people less successful than you. But there is only one you. So instead of wondering why you can't enjoy those levels of success, focus on what you can do to make yourself, your art, your process, your craft better. You will get absolutely nowhere with jealousy. In fact, you will push yourself backwards. You will just constantly, may as well just be walking backwards. Every time you get upset when someone else succeeds. So to that, I would say this, and I think this is very crucial for artists as a whole, as a community. When someone you know succeeds as an artist, celebrate it. Celebrate the hell out of their successes. Applaud them, scream for them, shout it to the heavens. My friend succeeded, and I am so proud of them. There's an old saying that a rising tide lifts all boats. And if you're in a boat and you see another boat rising, and you get jealous of that boat, and you fight that boat, you fight all of the urges to celebrate that boat, while this boat rises, your boat's going to drift off. It's going to drift away from the current, from the tide, and you're not going to rise at all. But if you're here while this boat is rising and you're screaming and shouting, hooray, huzzah, congratulations, your boat's going to rise too. Because people are going to see you for the kind, generous, person that you are, and they're going to want to be a part of your life as well. On top of which, that kind of celebration is good for the soul. Celebrating other successes is good for you. And it's good for everybody else. It's one of those things that should be like a virus and catch hold so that when one person succeeds, everybody it feels that kind of joy. And I know for some people that's a hard one. But it's a bad habit you need to break because it's not going to do you any good. Okay, what's next? Okay, so let's say you're an actor and you've been auditioning for shows and you're not getting cast. Or maybe you're in a smaller town and there's not a lot of shows going on, or you're in a mid-sized town and there's plenty of shows going on but nothing right for you, and it's been a while. Now, I am right now going on almost 2 years since I've been on stage, and I'm starting to feel that urge, that pull, that desire, that understanding that something is missing. I know what that something is. And I also have a big project that I'm trying to get, that's actually it's in motion, but it's a little slow right now. And I'm intentionally not auditioning for anything because I don't want to have to commit to anything, because this project is my baby and I've got to get it off the ground. But you might not have that. And you might be looking at the idea of, when is the next show going to be for me? And you keep looking, you keep auditioning, and it's just not happening. And every day that you are not connecting to that artistry, you feel your soul wither away a little bit more. What do you do? Well, number one, you keep auditioning. Number two, you decide, you just have to decide that instead of being so picky about the roles you choose, lower your standards a little bit. Because being on stage, maybe doing a smaller role than you normally would have preferred to have, is better than not being on stage. On top of which, when you're working on a show, you have that collective of other artists working with the same goal in mind, and it is glorious. It is so heart-filling and soul-fulfilling when you have that kind of connection, that kind of community with those other people. People that don't do theater have no idea what it's like to be in rehearsal and the magic that comes with working on a show with other people. It is something that I would wish everyone could experience. So be willing to do shows you might not have otherwise been willing to do. Here's another thing. Find monologues, memorize them, practice them, rehearse them, film them, study them, film them again, study yourself performing it, make changes, grow. Always, every day, be doing something to remind you that you've still got it. And that will help you tremendously. At the same time, take a class. Take an acting class. Just like that feeling when you're in rehearsal and you make these connections with these other artists that you don't get in regular life. If you're in class, let's say you join an acting class, and all of a sudden you're in a room surrounded by people who want to improve their skills, and you've got a teacher there that's going to guide you through it. That is a beautiful, wonderful thing. And trust me, that will get you through those periods when you don't have a show to do. But what if you're not an actor? What if you're not involved in the theater? What do? You're still an artist. You still have to do something. Well, if you're a writer, and I see this a lot, more so than you would imagine. If you're a writer and you keep pitching, You keep pitching to publishers, you keep pitching to agents, you've been doing it for years and nothing is happening. And you're starting to feel like, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to succeed in this. And it just beats you down. And the longer it goes on, the harder it gets. And eventually you start thinking, well, why am I bothering? I may as well just not even try anymore. Okay, what do? Here's what you do. You keep pitching to agents and publishers, but at the same time, you decide, I'm going to write this one project here, okay? And this book I'm going to self-publish on Amazon. Okay? So you write it, you get some people to read it, beta read it, you hire an editor. Please hire an editor, or barter, or whatever you have to do. Get an editor for your book. Edit it, get a cover designer, make it as professional as you can, send it off to Amazon, and let it get published. Because even if you haven't had the success yet with an agent or publisher, you will at least see the fruits of your labor. And even if very few people purchase your book, because right now the book market is very sluggish, even if nobody buys your book, you've at least succeeded in doing that. You've finished a book. You've written it. It's complete. It's published. It's available for people to purchase. And that right there will help you quite a bit while you're still pitching to agents and publishers. It's a way to keep the momentum, positive momentum, going forward, while you're also facing that uphill battle of trying to get an agent interested in you, or a publisher interested in you. If you have even just a little bit of momentum, that momentum, you can build on that, and it'll gradually get you up that mountain. It's hard. I'm not going to lie. Being an artist is hard. But being an artist that doesn't take care of themselves is even harder. Because you have pretty much set yourself up on a trajectory of failure if you do not self-care. And that self-care starts with taking care of your body, your mind, your heart, your soul. And finding new ways to be creative. Take classes. You know, if you're a writer, take an improv class, because improv is going to help your dialogue exponentially. If you're an actor, take an acting class, take a directing class, take a writing class, take any kind of class. Because one thing that I feel very strongly about is that the more you learn as an artist, regardless of whether it has anything to do with the art that is your medium, you will grow. Because the best teacher of artistry is life and experience. You could just go for a walk in a park or a waterfront or whatever, and people watch. That is such a fascinating exercise. Because when you people watch, you're going to see how other people interact. You're going to see the traits of other people, and you can use those. You can use those in your descriptions of your characters. You can use those in your physicalizations of your characters. It's remarkable. And just doing something as small as that will help propel you forward. It will bring a level of self-care that you didn't realize you were missing. Because all of a sudden, hey, I'm studying humanity. I'm watching humanity go by, and I'm taking notes. And finally, I'm going to say this. As I did say earlier, that the world is a shit show. It really is. And there are two ways to look at this. You could step outside and you can look around and think, yeah, it's heinous out here. I don't want to be a part of it. Or you could step outside and you can realize that the world is absolutely teeming with inspiration. Every day I step outside, I make sure my eyes are open as wide as they can be, because I don't want to miss anything that could inspire me to write something new and unique. Sometimes the inspiration will come out of nowhere and you won't even realize it until you get home. You're like, oh my gosh, that sprinkler that I saw when I was out for a run that was doing this looked like this gigantic monster with these dreadlock, these waterish dreadlock tentacles and it was rising out of the earth. You never know. So open your eyes and realize that outside there is not exactly, it's not a world of pain out there. It's a world of inspiration. And on top of which, I know that we tend to, my wife is very fond of saying she doesn't want to go to work or go outside because she doesn't want to people. But people can be really awesome. And if you start to take a more positive attitude towards that, you're going to all of a sudden experience interaction with those people in such a positive way that it will help you as a human and an artist. That's about all I have to say on this subject right now. Actually, I could probably go on and on and on, but you don't want to listen to me anymore because I've droned on for too long as it is. Thank you so very much for spending a little time with me. It means the world to me that you would do this, that you would sit here with me and listen to me go on and on and on. If you know somebody that could benefit from this, if you know an artist that's struggling right now, please share it with them. And I hope that it helps them, because that's really all I want to do. Is I just want to help people. Just spread a little kindness. That's my mantra. And I wake up every day wondering how I can spread a little bit more kindness to the world. And today, this is what I decided to do. Thank you again. And I hope that everyone you love, as well as yourself, has a wonderful, wonderful day.